Welcome to this episode. This week we dig right into my food. I'm going to show you everything I eat, the calories, how I track it, targets that I've got, the whole kit and caboodle. We will go into great depth, or as much depth as I can. I'm not an expert at these things. Obviously I have a nutritionist as part of my work with Omnia, and Tom helps, Fergus helps as well. It's all part of the process when you work with Omnia. So I will show you all of that, and we have our normal workout sessions. I've got Castle Hill again, 7 times up this time now that we've sorted out the numbers and that little journey, and that's it. So let's get it done. I started this journey at 145 kilos with a goal to complete an Ironman and change my life. 12 months of work later, I crossed the finish line in Cairns 2024, 30 kilos lighter and super happy.
But the journey's only half done. We've got another 20 kilos to lose. I'm aiming to get down to 10% body fat and find that elusive 6-pack.
On top of that, I'm aiming for a high course finish in the Keltman in Scotland, just to keep things interesting.
I hope you enjoy my journey each week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified of each new episode when it drops. So let's have a look at my food for the week. I'm basically going to go through my macros first entries. That's the app I use to track all of my calories and macros. The idea behind it is you set, if we go to a day here, like if we go to the next day, it sets, we've worked out my maintenance calories. That's the 2880 amount. That is if I just ate exactly 2880 calories, in theory, my weight would stay exactly the same, should be matched up roughly to the calories that I burn every day. This is a bit of a guess and a bit of a maths equation based on my standard, what do they call it? My baseline energy use, plus the fact that I have a workout every day pretty much. So there are 2 approaches you can do to this kind of method. You can either use your baseline, let's say my baseline is 2300 calories per day to survive and not lose weight or gain weight. Then I could work out how many calories I use from my exercising and add that each day to make up and work out what my total energy use for the day, and then I would take 500 calories off that. That's a pretty complicated way to do the process. So this methodology is that you set your baseline for the week at 2800 calories a day, and my aim is to come in at least 2,000 to 3,000 calories under that total for the 7 days. Because your body doesn't lose weight in a day, it loses over a period of time. And so the idea that we're following is that if you sustain that calorie deficit I'm aiming for about 500 to 800 calories a day. I aim for around 2,000 calories a day. And except for Saturday when I have a bigger block of workout where I'll go up to 3,000. So if we go to the Monday of the first week that I'm calculating this, we can see that my standard kind of breakfast is I have a couple of cups of coffee. I use like this satchel cappuccino thing, and my protein shake. I like mine with the low-fat milk, plus it adds a little bit more protein to my meal, and I had a banana with it that day as well. And so that's 500 calories for the breakfast period, which is pretty standard. I do have a bigger protein/calorie version, but I sort of have, what you'll see through this whole process is I have like my main go-to meals throughout the week. The easiest way to do calorie management is to not be doing something different all the time, is to have some go-to meals. You know what they are, you know how to make them, they're easy. The easier you make this process, the better it will work. For lunch this day, I had a steak and an Asian salad bowl. Again, one of my favorite go-to meals. and dinner was chicken thighs and vegetables. So again, a pretty stock standard day. In between that, I had my favourite salted caramel protein bar and a couple of Twiggy sticks. These are like kind of like beef jerky, I guess. They're a nice. They're high in protein, but they are high in fat, so they're very satiating. So if I've got a bit of a hunger on, I will have one of those, and it tends to help. And I also had a banana in the afternoon pre-workout. So fairly standard sort of Monday, and 817 calories in deficit. So that's a good day.
You know I want you close. Maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow
Monday morning, back at the gym. Got the legs this and back today, so feeling better this week. No couch has moved, so back at the gym, and let's have a good session. More sprints this afternoon, which 1.2 Ks times 3. Good fun.
can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. You got your high heels on, and I'm wearing my worn out jeans. What could go wrong? Sipping on a beer, sing along to our favorite songs. All I want is you. You make my world spin round and round. Sometimes I don't know what to
Now we're going for a run. 3 times 1.2 kilometers. Got a 1 kilometer warm up, and then 3 lots of 1.2 kilometers, as hard as I can go. Which I'm not really sure how hard that is, but we'll see.
Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. A never-ending sunshine.
First set. Aiming for sub 5-minute kilometers.
Maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be the girl that I'll end up calling on. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like
Well, I'm glad that's over. I'm led to believe that next week we're back to 200 metres, and going to see how much faster I can get. So these little sprint things aren't going anywhere in a hurry, but it's fine. I really do like what I get from it. I really don't enjoy doing it, but that's how it works. No pain, no gain. So I'm going to go and have a nice shower now and get on the roller and stretch these legs out, because otherwise I feel like I might be a little bit sore tomorrow. Oh. Yeah. Then we go on to Tuesday. Same breakfast effectively, except I had this shake without the milk, which really don't enjoy the taste anywhere near as much. I feel like I have to keep shaking it all the time. Lunch was the chicken thighs left over from the night before, and I cut them up and put them into a wrap. So pretty straightforward sort of meal. And dinner, we had tacos Tuesday. And we, I just had the standard, I had soft tacos, not the hard shell tacos, and snacks, I had another shake that day, and I did have it with the milk that time. So again, pretty straightforward day, 977 calories remaining. Wednesday, I had a banana early that day because I have a hard ride in the morning, extra coffee, and this day I had my Greek yogurt breakfast. So I have 2 servings of the Greek yogurt with some muesli and blueberries, and I also put in this is my big breakfast, an extra scoop of the salted caramel shake mix. So I mix it all in with the Greek yogurt, and so that's a 60 grams of protein meal, but it is still higher in carbs and calories than I would like, but it's still it's a good one. My Wednesday morning is a big ride for me, so it's nice to have a big meal after that. Lunch was another wrap, those chicken thighs again, which was nice. Dinner was lamb chops. Sometimes when I record my dinner, I don't put the vegetables in because they don't, a lot of times I'll just have broccolini with my dinner. And I had an extra shake that day. And you'll see that I had to, I almost hit my protein mark for the day, but that also means that I have pushed my calories as well. So only 430 deficit that day, which is still okay, but it's because I'm conscious. So I'm always trying to manage my calories versus the workout that I have to do as well. So the next day, the Thursday, I have a big run in the morning, which is the hardest. Hour for hour running is the hardest workout that I do all week. My rides on the weekend, even doing Castle Hill, are much easier physically than doing a run. So I always try to go into my run day feeling full of carbs, not full of carbs, but like having not cutting my energy intake to a ridiculous level, because that lets me get up and do my run. So again, after my big run, I actually fueled prior in having the sourdough. I had a couple of slices of sourdough toast pre-run, which was good. And then my Greek yogurt breakfast and a couple of coffees. So lunch was leftover lamb chops. I actually think I just ate them cold out of the fridge. This was I almost forgot. How do you forget this? So this day was a bit of a mixed up day because ended up at the emergency room because my wife had a blood clot in her lung, which we didn't know about until we went to the doctor. And anyway, that's a long story. She's fine, and she will be fine moving forward. So, but it sort of threw my whole day of eating out, which clearly wasn't pre-planned on her behalf. But it's important to remember when you're counting calories and you're managing all this stuff that life gets in the way sometimes, and not always little things. So ended up, we got back late from the emergency department, and I just had we had some Red Rooster at some point during the day, and I had some little chicken wings that I couldn't find on the app here. So there's probably another 300 to 400 calories that haven't been counted in this day because I couldn't find that amount. So yeah, a bit of a mixed up day. I'm still in a deficit, which is the main goal. And so one of the things I've really learnt well in doing this, in learning how to manage my calories, is that I'm happy to take from here and add somewhere else. So for example, it was during the afternoon that I had the Red Rooster, because I'd had the late lunch with the lamb chops, which really wasn't enough in terms of filling me up. And so by the time it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I needed something else to eat, and I was out and things were happening. And so I ended up going through the drive-through. But so instead of me getting home after being at the emergency department and having another meal, because that's what we're programmed to do, my response is that I have a nut bar instead and a couple of no sugar isopoles, so they don't have any calories in them. So because I wasn't really feeling hungry by the time I got home, and so now I just make smarter choices like that. Instead of having a meal, because I could have eaten, but I knew that my calories were already up because I'd been to Red Rooster and I'd already had enough calories for the day. And so really the whole process of managing these things is about making sure you make those better choices.
Reminiscing a lot this morning, well actually probably the last few days really, about my Ironman journey and the whole, especially the day that it happened. It was really an amazing day, and I don't know, I miss that day. I want to recapture that day. It would be, I don't know, I think that's what I'm chasing sometimes, is that everything came together so amazing that week. Everybody there. I'm actually going to redo my Ironman video to include more footage and tell the story better. Don't think I did as good a job as I could have in that space. But yes, I just it's a beautiful morning this morning, and I've got my run, and I know, just reminiscing. That was a 1 hour run, 130 heart rate, low intensity, but I also did it fasted. Just trying something, talking to Tom last night, since it's a low intensity, we tried it fasted, and well, I tell you what, it makes a difference. Just that extra banana, something before you run, gives you that bit of extra energy. I tell you, I struggled to finish this one. Oh, anyway, it's done, and we won't try fasted again, because I just don't think I don't think it's worth it. So anyway, off to do my DEXA scan.
well, not straight from the hardwood, you mean. That's next on the agenda.
So the Friday, again, a pretty standard breakfast. I had some sourdough before my swim to make sure I had fuel, and had my, don't know why I put 500 mils of milk there. Anyway, I think that's probably more than didn't have 2 cups, so I'm not sure why I've put 500. Must have been a mistake. But anyway, lunch was one of my other go-to meals, which is the sweet chili, little tins of sweet chili tuna on rice crackers with some cheese and tomato. Again, a nice high protein meal and really easy to make on the fly. Dinner was chicken thighs, sweet corn and some other vegetables. And it was a rough day. One of my go-to meals, one of my go-to treats is potato chips. So that's why, again, I make sure I manage all my other calories, because I know I want to have some potato chips later on. So I've learned how to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, when I want to. And so that's a good example of that. So we move into Saturday, and basically we go over here. So I had about 3,000 calories on the Saturday. Not because I ate any different kind of meals. That's pretty much all down to the 30 grams of carb gels that I had in my ride. So that's an extra 700 calories just in the ride part of my day to keep me fueled, doing Castle Hill 7 times. So it's a 4-hour, 25-minute ride. But that's really the only difference in the day. That's what adds. So if I take those off, I'm 500 calories in deficit, and that's fine. I can't be over. Again, this was a day where we were out doing stuff. So I had some honey chicken on a stick. Actually, it was really nice, but for a late lunch, because obviously my breakfast when I do my long ride doesn't happen until like 10:30 in the morning. So it sort of throws the whole day out. Late lunch, and ended up not having any dinner. Didn't feel like dinner later on, and had some licorice and potato chips that evening. So not a perfect day by any stretch of the imagination, but again, it's about learning how to manage those calories. So if I don't need to have dinner because I've had enough, then I don't. And that's kind of the story of how this works. Again, Sunday's not a hard deficit day. I kind of just take it a bit easier on my recovery day, because I don't have any exercise and I don't have to do anything in particular. So steaks for dinner, and had some salted popcorn watching a movie in the afternoon, which is really the only thing added to what would be a normal day. But that's really a whole week of food for me. There's nothing fancy about my calorie deficit diet. It is really just about understanding what everything costs me and what choices I want to make along the way. And the only thing I guess that's different for me is that as opposed to just a straight calorie deficit to lose weight, I have to make sure that I've got enough fuel in my body to be able to do the workouts. So there is a little bit of balancing throughout the week to make sure that I eat calories at the right time, and make sure I have some carbs at the right time. Like before my afternoon workouts, I'll make sure I have a banana, so there's some carbs going into my body before I hit that workout. it just makes all the difference at the end of the day. Going into things fasted or empty of calories, just there's nothing left in the tank. So you've got to give yourself every chance of being able to be able to perform. And I think that's one of the keys, because you're trying to get a balance at this whole time between getting the results that you want in terms of performance and losing the fat at the same time. And it's not always an easy balance to strike. So, but I'm pretty happy with how things are going so far. I think my body's gone back into its deficit now, and I think even though the results from the scan weren't what I wanted, I'm actually now starting to show on the scales that I'm losing a little bit. So I'm expecting over the next month for things to start escalating in the fat loss, which will be great, because it is hard when you do all the right things and you don't see the results, that's for sure.
Thanks so much for watching this week. I hope that my detailed examination of my current calorie deficit diet has helped. I hope it wasn't too much detail. It's always hard to know where to strike the balance in that scenario. Next week, I will go into my chart a little bit more and hopefully the DEXA scan. So the DEXA scan results weren't bad, but they weren't as good as I'd hoped. But as my coach Fergus pointed out, what we really need is the next month. So the one I do in a month's time, that will be the one that tells the story, because one of the unfortunate things about the DEXA scan is that it includes your fluids in your lean mass. So if I'm a bit dehydrated the day that I go and do my DEXA scan, which I was last week when I did my DEXA scan, because I'd only done my run that morning and I hadn't rehydrated. So instead of the DEXA scan showing that I hadn't really changed at all in the month, what it showed was that I had lost 2 kilos of lean mass, or close enough. And so we need a longer period of data to get any kind of real conclusions out of it. I was hoping for something more miraculous, but don't we all? But anyway, I'm not worried. I actually feel like I'm starting to see the results now of the work, and so I think the next month will show us the results for the hard work that I've been putting in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.